We chill, don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, well babe, you hella late. Educate, look at what's going on, let it resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet, the storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate. The values of our country and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, manipulate, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on these streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour and troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, but chose to just neglect it. Deflected by some breaking news, oh, we just accept it. Expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objective, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, blind, not a sheep. Only kneel to my God, so I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I'll pray for forgiveness.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. Need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, I hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
Okay, I'm really always so unprepared. So give me 1 second. I apologize. And oh, here I go again, not turning the banner off. I'm not gonna cuss though. I can never work StreamYard. I swear, I hate it. Knew how to do it one time, then I forget. Okay, there we go. All right, I got it. Hey, I got it. Thank you guys for coming here. I appreciate it. I'm honestly grateful. So a lot of people, no, you're not late, Lisa. A lot of people will say if you see or hear, right, one Trump speech, you've heard them all, and that is relatively true, right? Because he does tend to circle back, but there's so many. Oh, I hate that I even had to use that. There's so many things, right? That I mean, there's so many things that you can talk about, but the problems, we know the core problems, right? The biggest issues, and that's what we want to focus on. And somebody mentioned in the chat, any idea on the VP? I would love to hear. What you guys think, because I am fearful that it's going to be Vivek. I know there's people that support him. I have a problem with a slick talker. I know people like that he's articulate. But to me, I mean, if you've been, even though people say, well, he explained how he got his funding from Soros, I don't give a damn how he explained it. Doesn't matter to me. The point is you got the money from him and you took it. It's a problem per se. And anybody that's interested in dealing with a billionaire from pharmaceuticals doesn't have the best interest of the people. In my mind, like I said, he sounds good, right? Definitely sounds good, but yeah, that doesn't move me. I think again, I've said this in my video before. Obama was a good talker, and Obama actually had swag. I kind of think Vivek's a little bit of a lame, but that could be just me, you know, coming from a woman's perspective. But it is what it is. I don't know if you guys, like I said, I don't know if everybody watched, but clearly inflation is a problem, a big problem, you know, and I wouldn't, like I said, I'm not ready for politics on any stretch of the imagination. I'm looking for an alderman position, right? That's my next move. That's my in the door. That's what I want to do here while I'm here. Okay. Because there's so many issues, so many problems that I can see. And I know the money's not being allocated appropriately. And yes, do I want to be some type of savior? I wouldn't call it a savior. I just want to do the right thing by the people, you know. And I think a lot of people come in with that objective in mind, but they're easily bought out, you know. It's unfortunate, but it happens. I don't think that money is worth sacrificing the people, though, you know. Kristi Noem would be an excellent pick. I like her. I like Carrie Lake. There's very few. I can't even sit here and say that, you know, there's multiple people that I really like. I had no idea that Nikki Haley was so horrible. I had no idea. I guess I mean, I don't really need to do much more research about her. I don't even know how she really got as far as she did with her thought process, but I don't know, you know. You know, John, somebody put that in the comment section that it could be Tucker, right? I don't know if he's wanting to do that, you know. Truthfully, I don't know if he wants to get involved in politics. You probably know better than me. That would be interesting. I am going to put the link in the chat room, right? I don't know if it's left already, but if anybody can like copy and paste it randomly, I'd appreciate it. If not, I will do it when I think about it. What's interesting to me is that an 80-year-old man can do so much traveling. I don't think I could keep up. I really don't think I could keep up. Not at all. You know, I don't mind Ben Carson either. I like Ben Carson. I do. And again, my issue with my few issues with Trump, but I do try to reach out to him. Like I did try to get in contact with him on True Social, right? I've emailed a few times. I'm just going to keep at it with hope that it's one day I can make it happen. So there's, you know, everybody would love to get in contact with the presidential candidate. Okay. And I would go so far as to say it will be our president elect, hopefully, God willing. You know, some people have concern that there won't even be an election. I've heard that before multiple times. Actually, today I heard it again. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, they are moving very, very weird. You know, it seems like the Democrats aren't pressed to even lift a finger to recruit or have anybody. I don't know if it's because they really think they have it in the bag or it's some weird, twisted, you know, I don't know, man. I just can't figure that out. I mean, no Democratic convention, right? And they just think that they don't have to like campaign, politic, none of that has to be done. That's awkward to me. I mean, I don't know how other people feel about it, but it just seems a little, you know, not so much, I mean, clearly inadequate. But where have these people been for the last 3 years? Where have they been? Under a rock? I think somebody said in an interview with Kamala, she was talking about the border. And she was telling, I can't remember who the interview was with. She was like, well, we went to the border. And he was like, you went to the border? Well, I haven't been to Europe either. You know, like, why wouldn't you be at the border? I mean, you've created such a miserable problem and you don't want to fix it? Like, I don't get it, man. You know, honestly, yeah, they don't have to pretend to care anymore. You're right. You're right about that. But I don't think there's enough cheating in the world for him this time. I really don't believe that. We watched Let My People Go last night. And I will say I ended up crying on a few different occasions. I had so many emotions. I was feeling proud. I was feeling hurt. I was, you know, empathetic to the parents and the family on there. I mean, so many things were going through my mind. It's like I had to keep the paper towel right next to me. Like, I can't even believe this, you know? But I'm the type of person that gets emotional when they play the national anthem. So yeah, call me a little cheesy, but I take it serious. I love my country, you know? So yeah, if you guys can, go to Frank's speech and you can rent it on there for $10. I would encourage people, please do not like bootleg or, you know, because they're independent. When it says it's produced by Anonymous and directed by The Censored, you know. So the people involved in that movie, a few of them have been put. If you guys know about David Clements and his situation at the University of Mexico, you'll understand more. And that's why I'm just saying, you know, please pay the $10, right? Don't share it. Let people pay for it on their own. That's all I'm saying, because they are fully independent. So they absolutely, John, I don't know why. I know why. I do know why. I feel like that's the great replacement theory, but that, you know, that's my opinion. I'll stick to that. Okay. My opinion only. But I don't know about anybody else, but I'm the person that gets pissed off when I go through McDonald's and people work in the window don't know English. And it's miraculous how now they can, take up school slots in the most impoverished areas. The people who need the education the most are the people told to stay home for them. Again, I've had arguments about, oh, how much they contribute to the economy and blah, 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 blah. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm really not. But it would be interesting to see how many of these people actually, John, will be able to vote. Here, like, I know we're in a sanctuary city, right? But I don't see these people. I'm being honest. I don't see them. I don't know where they have them at. I have no idea. And God willing, right now, I don't see any homeless people. We got like 8 to 10 inches of snow. It's cold out. I haven't seen any, and I don't want to, because that I know some people choose to live like that, but the last thing I want to see is somebody outside when it's freezing with nowhere to go. But I do know that in Massachusetts, they are reaching out and asking their residents to, and we talked about this on the other panel the other day, to house these families, like put them up in their house. So some of us, right, who don't even want our own family staying in our house. I mean, would I do it if they absolutely needed it? For sure. But do I want to do it on my own? Not really, But yeah, they're asking their residents to basically, what do they call that? Host them, right? Like some type of exchange student type thing. I can't imagine how much they're paying, right? It's probably like, I'm sure they probably get, I'm going to go so far to say $3 to $5 grand a month to do it. I wish I knew somebody out there so I could ask them, like, what are they offering you guys to house them? Just saying. Yeah. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. I really, again, I don't think they have enough. They're not going to be able to pull it off this time. They're not. And in that, right, it really breaks down in the Let My People Go. It really breaks down the procedure of how the machines go, how they infiltrate. It's pretty good. It's worth it. It's worth the $10. So just saying. Yeah, I know, guardsmen. I know. It's hard though. We have to put our faith in somebody, What else are we gonna do? You have to, I mean, just sit back. If I feel like I sit back and I do nothing, then I don't have anything to complain about. That, if I'm somebody who's like, just, I'm going to sit it out, I don't got nothing to do with it, it's going to be what it's going to be, then you really don't have anything to complain about. That's just my opinion. Over 600,000 people are homeless in America. 100 more thousand when Trump was in office. Another thing I have heard from multiple people is that here, other locations, eviction court is through the roof. People are having a hard time paying their rent. They pay $5,000 a month in rent to house an eagle. Illegal, I said an eagle. An illegal, $5,000. $5,000 a month. That's pretty enticing in this economy. I wonder how many people would do it. I don't know. That'd be interesting to find out, John. Hey, let's do this now. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Have people, okay. I seen your email from the other day, Stryker. I did see it. I will go back to it again. I had a whole week where I just felt like crap. So I will absolutely look into that. I've been so stuck in what I'm gonna do to, because Trump did mention that coming to the state fair, and I'm like, if he comes here, that's so close. I need to figure out a way in, right? There's just a couple of things like I feel that are so important that I need to communicate, but I'm sure everybody feels like there's some things that are just that worthy that they need to talk to someone. So, yeah, I bet he did. He doesn't have any allegiance to being American anyway, John. I mean, it is what it is, but he's not going to stand on principle when it comes to that. And in this economy, I don't know. I don't know how many people will, to be honest. I mean, that's a good way out, you know. Um, I know what was it? You said it, I see you saying that they ruined hotels, Lisa. It's been a lot of places. Now they have, I think, Embassy Suites, which is relatively a good hotel, housing people. So, and like I said, these hotels are probably getting a boatload of money, so they don't even care. Do it, right? Why not? They're probably not even making money like that. So that's how they're looking at it. The root of all evil, money. Oh man, it's nuts. But I guess I would like to dig further because on my curiosity wants to know why everybody is so lax on the Democrat side. There has to be a reason. There's more to it. Okay, Striker. If you send me the okay, tomorrow you're gonna send it out. All right, I will try to make that happen. 2 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so like 4 my time, I think. All right, yeah. Whoo. Actually, John, who not John? Josh told me somebody quit today on Biden's team. I can't even remember the name. The campaign guy. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? I can say, and I said that in my last video, the Fannie Willis is very interesting. It's just very comical. I am happy. Oh, John Kerry. Okay, that was the name. That was the name. Okay, great. Well, I mean, isn't isn't there's somebody to fill that spot? Don't they have somebody in line to do that already? I'm sure somebody will come with that. And also in the movie, I'm gonna say this with this one last thing, and I'm gonna shut up because I don't like to spoil it. They go through a ton of articles of people resigning, right? Getting charges. A lot of people, multiple different states, a lot of people. So it is kind of refreshing to see, like, okay, some of this is coming out. This is coming to light. People are deciding, like, okay, I effed up and it's time to go, and bowing out gracefully. Hopefully they do get some type of charges, but for them to just resign, okay, I mean, that tells you a lot. And it was multiple people. I'd say a good, I don't know, 10 to 20 in there. There's multiple articles. I'm telling you, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. Focus your party is a John. Well, I don't want to say that the word, but we are talking about Let My People Go. If I don't know if you've heard of it, Alan. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. I was saying it's a very interesting movie. It tells a lot. It tells a whole lot. So, and I was reading the other day that Biden actually got booed out of a bicycle shop in Pennsylvania. Like that's kind of unheard. I mean, not that I'm not going to say I didn't mean to say it's unheard of. I'm saying I'm not surprised. Like people are being way more vocal, right? Like the total Karen outside the school, screaming and yelling. Like I feel her pain, right? Like I would be pissed off too. That's life altering. You want to send people's kids home. Like, man, I can't even imagine, right? Even being in high school, maybe they don't want some of their kids at home all day. They go to school for a reason, not just education, but what do they say? Idle minds are the devil's workshop, or idle hands are the devil's workshop. I'm just saying. Days me and my president long. Well, yeah, I don't know if he's still going to be your president for long, my friend. What's up, Blackson? Good to see you. That's okay. Look, that's the beauty of this country. People get to vote the way they want, and that's what makes it. It is what it is. I'd rather see you vote than not vote at all. So we can agree to disagree, and I'm cordial with that, right? I don't agree with that. That's okay. We're not all gonna agree. Such is life, And I think the main thing is learning how to interact with each other and get along and hear each other out, because we can teach each other things, right? I don't have hate for anyone. That's not in me. So um uh hey, yeah, I just would rather, like I said, I would rather learn. I have lost a couple of family members, and a friend that I thought we had a very good relationship for some years, and not anymore, behind politics. And that really hurt my feelings. And I don't want that to happen anymore. I refuse to do that. So I think it's best to communicate and get our ideas on the table. And with that happening and us coming to a common ground, because it's really about the people, right? Who gives a damn about the freaking politicians? All they are is a figurehead, right? That take a collective thought with their own and make decisions based on it. So it's really about us. I'm not, yeah, I don't want to get into that. It's not fair to count people out. Whew. Anyway, hey, Callie. Hey, how you doing, dear? 30K Palestinians taken out by this incompetent. Hey, I'm not cool with either side, right? I know that there has been travesties done on both ends of the stick. Where I come in, I'd much rather see peace. What did Trump say? Peace, strength with peace. That seems better to me. What is the point in airing each other out? We just don't get anywhere. I mean, some people, in my opinion, can get it, sorry, not sorry. They're just not worthy. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about there are people in this world that commit certain atrocities that I would be happy to see gone. So it is what it is. You just had the best bagel sandwich ever. I just ate some pizza. I didn't want to do it, guys. I really didn't want to do it, but I did it. Where did the link go? Blackson, you're probably playing the game, aren't you? I bet you are. You're in that damn game. Yeah, none of this would have happened under Trump. And a lot of people are realizing that. I see it. I can't keep up. There are so many articles, so many things every single day. There's no way. I would have to focus my whole day on dropping video after video after video after video. There is so much going on. Man, I'm telling you, I could not keep up. I had a lot of friends before the 2016, like come to find out they were nothing but so-called friends. You take a new vitamin called stay away from negative people. Yeah, I hear you. I understand. But it hurts when you really think that was like a true friend and then they're gone. Man, that's painful. It really is. Mm. And I still talk about it because it bothers me that much, because I feel like if I put my time and my effort in and we did all these things, we used to go out to breakfast, we used to gamble, we went to each other's houses, you know, help with my dad, you do all these things. And then, we kind of intertwine our families, and then you walk away over a political candidate, man. Yeah, that's messed up, man. But I guess I do have to look past it and keep moving because life goes on, and hopefully one day, um, we can see eye to eye again, because it does bother me. It is what it is. Josh is always making something. He, not trying to get off subject, but he told me he was going to do shake and bake. I'm like, shake and bake? I ain't heard about shake and bake since I was young. That was something my mom did. Shake and bake. It's funny to me because for me, that's like the cheap cop out way of not actually wanting to season and cook the chicken yourself. But hey, I guess if you're just baking maybe it's best that way. I don't know. I just ended up being a shake and bake hater due to my mother. Newsome 2024. Alan, you're gonna make Callie puke with that one. That's her arch nemesis. Oh my God. I know it's rough. It's rough. Believe me, I struggle. Yep, definitely. You can't afford shit. Man, you have to work like 3 jobs, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hurtful, Kelly. That's the worst part. That is the worst part. But, I do think that within time, we will see what we're looking for. And this is no offense to anybody with a different opinion, but everything, you know what? Everything in the dark comes to the light. So the truth will prevail, right? So the people that have been doing messed up stuff and committing crimes that haven't necessarily been quote unquote outed will be. It will come out. So we just have to really sit back and let it ride, right? Because again, the truth. Kelly Trump said they're not going to let Biden run. That wouldn't, you know what? That wouldn't shock me. Now, I will tell you, Callie and I have talked about this on multiple occasions. There's a few people, Josh, there's a few people that I talk with a lot about politics, okay? And it is of her belief that they will try to run Newsom or Michelle Obama. Now, I think, even though Michelle says she doesn't want to do it, I think it doesn't even matter if she wouldn't want to do it. If they say you're going to do it, she's more than likely going to have to do it. But in that aspect, maybe that's what they're, maybe that's what they're banking on. Maybe that's why they're so confident and feel like they have it in the bag. That could be, And what's the new thing with no debates? I didn't know that was even a thing. That's new to me. But yeah, that has been Callie's prediction, and unfortunately, she has been right more than I would like to admit. So that's a little scary, man. A tad. Whew. So the biggest thing I think in our situation with what Trump's talking about, and he's right, people, they respect strong leaders. So I believe 100% that if Trump would have continued, we wouldn't even seen Ukraine being an issue at all. Everybody would have been calm. Iran, Israel, all these things that are happening would have been good. Not to say that there might not have been a little bit of a conflict, but a boss just lays down the law. They're not going to play around or waste no time. And I appreciate that. That's what men do. Unfortunately, I think Biden is, clearly used, right? I don't even think we all know he doesn't really even know what's going on, and it's hard for him to put sentence together. So they're just throwing him out in front of the people. So at this point, it could be something like elder abuse, right? They could legitimately call it that. They could call it elder abuse for sure. And so, I don't, like I said, I don't have hate for anyone. That's one thing I've been taught, and I stick to it. I don't hate him. I don't hate anyone. I hate the people that plot and plan on us, right? I hate them people. I really do. And I shouldn't even say that. But, if you have in your heart the desire to want others to fail or to do harm to them, to collectively line your pockets, you ain't worth shit. You're really not, But again, that's for God to judge. I don't have to deal with them. I clearly don't have to sleep with them at night. It's just messed up. I wish people had more integrity, But I know when I ask people, what are you thinking about, like the younger people, like, who are you going to vote for? What are you going to do? At least they're willing to hear me out. Even if they initially disagree, they will listen. I was at the gas station the other night. A guy came in, him and his girl. He was plowing in a plow truck and was saying how we were supposed to be getting a lot more snow. And we were talking about, the election and voting. And I'm like, you vote? He's like, absolutely. And I'm like, I'm not even going to ask him who he's voting for. I'm not going to get into all that right here. But I was happy to hear that, he's involved in his community. I'm good with that because a lot of people just, they don't care. They really don't care. They just go with the flow, and it is what it is. It's whatever. Like, well, not a big deal. Even that bigger YouTuber, Phil the Advice Show. I know some of you guys know who that is. He has basically promoted not necessarily Trump, right? But he has obviously said, don't vote Biden, and sit it out. I guess people could interpret that as saying, like, well, if you're not going to vote for Trump because F the Democrats, right? You should be done with them already. But then just sit it out, which I don't know if that's necessarily the best advice to give anybody. I don't know. But sometimes I feel like that. I got so mad about Civic when I heard that it was a possibility, but I kind of had to step back, like, hold up a minute. I'm going a little bit too far. Like, am I really going to just completely take myself out of the voting game because of that? No, I'm not. Yeah, okay, Alan. Okay, if you think so. How long have they been holding that carrot on the stick? Please enlighten me, because I really wouldn't know. But I feel like they've been doing that for a really long time to get people to keep voting for them. I'm just curious. How long has that been? And even though I don't like people, celebrities involved in politics, right? I feel like they should keep their big mouth out of it. Unfortunately, they are influential. And I know that Charlamagne the God, who has been a person who went on the Breakfast Club, huge platform, and basically co-signed the black vote for Biden. And now he is like backtracking, right? Because he's gotten a lot of pressure. Like, man, you told us to vote for him, and look what's happening. Like, why would you, basically saying, like, why would you send us off like that? So yeah, I guess he would be feeling kind of bad if you set up and co-signed it and it went left, Like, man, that was clear, It's like when you try to tell people stuff, I don't know, man. Sometimes I think they think that you have another agenda, or they know something you don't know, or everything you know is a conspiracy. You just can't win with some people, man. It's just crazy. Let's say the lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. All righty. Hey, Pookie, good to see you. I hope all is well. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go right there. So I guess so everybody that is going to be potentially on the ticket is already you can't add anybody. That's something I didn't know. I didn't know how that worked. I guess that would make sense though, because we don't have a lot of time left. You know what? That is so true. When I try to look at the suburbs close to Milwaukee, like Oak Creek is nice. You're gonna look at a good 400 to 500,000. Waukesha, same thing, 400 to 500,000. All the surrounding suburbs are very expensive. Hey, how are you?
Doing all right. How are you tonight?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I can't complain.
Cool. I was going to ask if my audio is coming in okay because my phone is always my phone where it acts up. So
Yeah, no, you
let me
sound
know.
good. I can hear you.
Great. Let me know if I cut out or go robot or anything, and I'll reboot the StreamYard or whatever. So let
Okay,
me
sure.
poke.
No problem.
Yeah,
Go
let
ahead.
me poke in the chat to make sure I'm not missing anybody's commentary here as we fill in the panel.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind. I'm trying to keep up.
That's all right. Got a
Trying
full
to,
day of work in, and you're keeping your sanity. That's the least you can do,
yeah,
or
yeah,
some days
exactly.
it's the most. I
Yeah.
in our modern world, I am busy tracking a package. I thought, okay, the United States Postal Service was terrible, so I'll go with UPS. And UPS is doing the exact same thing, sending a package. The person's not there for it, so they send it back instead of sending it to me or somewhere else. They're sending it to some type of holding facility where I gotta jump through hoops just to get the package, that I paid to send to
Uh,
someone. So, yeah, if our country can't even deliver mail correctly, you think they're gonna act correctly?
yeah, I don't know if here we had a problem with people stealing, like breaking into the mailboxes, the blue boxes, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, like washing checks. I didn't even know that they could do that anymore. We basically
yeah. We had in the last we've had the last 2 years our communal mailbox broke into twice, so it's
Oh wow. I didn't hear
it's
about it.
all the mail's out there in the parking lot. Yeah. The funny thing, it's supposed to be a
Yeah, they
crime to interfere with
actually
the mail,
shot and killed
and
a man.
yeah, Cindy's talking
Is
about
it
Gonzalo
overlapping for
Lira.
you? Is
Yeah, there's
it
a little bit of a
Striker,
lag.
is it overlapping for you? Okay, a little bit of a lag. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just my bars or my triangle is like a little wedge. It's not a full triangle at the moment.
What is that for your phone?
Yeah, it's T-Mobile. Now T-Mobile, if they don't like what you're saying, they can even mess with your phone service now. That came out recently. Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're not even going to let the internet services or the website censor you. The phone companies themselves will straight up do it.
Oh my. It's not shocking though. It's not shocking at all. Did you hear about this? I did not hear anything about an American being unalive for calling Zelensky a cokehead. Really? I'd have to
Yeah,
look
that's
into
Gonzalo Lira. He was in the Ukrainian prison. He's that reporter that was reporting on the ground what was really going on, and they said, "Oh, it's Russian propaganda." Arrested him. And hi, Callie and Manoa and Honey and everybody else that's in the chat. Good to see y'all.
That is awful.
But yeah,
Wow.
Gonzalo Lira.
Who was he a reporter
Yeah,
for, Stryker?
they basically, journalists. Well, at this rate, I think just conservative outlets and independent outlets, as far as I know. I don't believe he was assigned to a specific newspaper. They're trying to claim that, oh, he outed, these kids that were, had cell phones or whatever. Basically, they're trying to blame him for when Putin would use the cell phone signals to hone in on, Ukrainian troops / kids that were being, taking selfies and things like that. That's his fault. He reported that correctly, that those kids were idiots. Which, I will tell you this, being former communications in the Marine Corps, yeah, your life expectancy is not too high if you broadcast anything over the radio waves for too long. There are missiles on all sides of NATO. The NATO Warsaw Pact that had capability to track radio signals or Wi-Fi, whatever you want to call it these days, but it would track your signal and the missile would hone right into your communications van or into your, if you're using a backpack with a whip antenna, it might even hone into you. So that
Wow.
Ukraine's military that we trained was not smart enough not to be taking cell phones into the field or into battle. That's on their trainers. I almost think the West is propping up Ukraine to fail.
All that
Just
money,
saying.
all that money poured in there. That's insane to me. For what reason? I mean, I get that they make money off war. I mean, I don't really get it, to be honest. I've tried to figure out how that would even work 100 times, and I just left it alone because I'm like, I don't even get it,
Well, they're not fighting the war to win the war. If you were doing that, there'd be different tactics engaged, and you wouldn't bring the war to Putin. Especially during the winter in Russia, you would let Russia come to you, and you would do guerrilla insurgency and wear out Russia like the Afghans did with the Taliban when Russia invaded Afghanistan. You make Russia overexert itself, and that's not what's going on here. You have some of these talking pieces for the DEEPSTATE, so I don't get us in trouble there. They are saying that, oh, we can shoot drones at Moscow and this and that. Okay, you can shoot drones at Moscow, but those are drones you don't have now to protect your territory. You don't overextend yourself if you can avoid it. And Callie's asking, why didn't Biden negotiate his release? Because Biden's not going to negotiate for the release of Americans unless they wear a dress and play basketball and take a knee.
Ain't that
we actually saw that happen.
Yeah, our trade was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah, and what do we give up in exchange for that person that's just lucky to have a job playing a sport no one watches?
Mm-hmm. And we give them back like I
think it was 5.
Assassin.
Well, oh no, that's right. It was the guy who was the weapons trader.
Okay, yeah.
God of War dude.
So I did not know, and Callie mentioned it, that the DNC changed the rules to implement any candidate of their choosing. They just
Correct.
change the rules when they feel like it.
Correct.
That's insane. We can't do that.
Well, we could do that, but then we'd be just like them. And that is part of the thing to consider. Both the DNC and the RNC, they're both corporations that are private and can change their rules however their board of directors see fit. That's why Ronna McDaniel, or however you pronounce her name, she won't do anything for the MAGA base that has revitalized that party, because the intent of the GOP was to be collapsed into a uniparty with the DNC, and that came out decades ago. And so they're ticked off that a current guy running for office revitalized the brand of the GOP and made it competitive again. That was his crime, really, is he snapped a lot of people out of their funk and reinvigorated what was a dying party. They were going to make it a uniparty and have a couple of token, rural areas that would be the old GOP, but they're intended for the Mitch McConnells, the Paul Ryans, especially the Mitt Romneys, intending for them to be out there as controlled opposition. And we saw, the first thing that happened once a certain person took office, Mr. T. Well, lo and behold, 2018, all these establishment types abandoned their jobs. They did not seek re-election, and that's what allowed the blue trickle to ooze its way into the House of Representatives, and we barely kept the Senate. And in 2018, there was some fudgification with these things that count these papers that mark who you want. And yes, I am speaking kind of in deliberate code, folks. But, if you knew they were doing it in 2018, you knew darn well they're going to do something stupider in 2020. And folks on the ground in California and elsewhere, we got these folks dead to rights. And now it's just a matter of which ways we want to proceed against them. We've broken open enough stuff. Catherine Engelbright at True the Vote, she won her lawsuit in Arizona last week. I'd recommend you guys look up the developments with that. China was in Konnech's machines. So we got that. We had in my area, we can ascertain that somebody from Canada was in our machines out here. Now you have Newsom harassing the fine folks in Shasta County. They're wanting anything we're doing positive in California. Newsom and the state legislature that is blue, so blue that they should be a crayon color. They're trying to undo everything at the local levels people are doing. So they're the people in Temecula and Chino Hills here in Southern California that said we don't want these books in our schools. Well, the Attorney General is threatening to sue those school districts and those school boards. And in NorCal, they're threatening to sue Shasta County to try to undo the issue with the VOTING machines up there.
Yeah. I was saying earlier that in that movie, they completely break it down, right? And where they even brought up the Newsom recall and how they, got around that, right?
Well, yeah, they fudgificated that in a lot of ways, including running Larry Elder. Nice enough guy until you realize he had a CIA handler on stage with him during those whole procedures. Him and JFK Jr. or RFK Jr., excuse me, have something in common. They both want Sirhan out of jail, and the agency is not going to allow that. So they,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they intervened. That's why Newsom looked like he saw a ghost that night. I like to tell people either Auntie Pelosi called or he got a visit and a tap on the shoulder. And he did not look confident in his acceptance speech. KTLA 5 reported that Elder won every county but did not win the popular vote. Well, you can't win every county without winning the popular vote in those counties. So they played a semantics game, and then Elder conceded early that night, like at 6:30 or 5:30 in the evening. So it didn't even go that long. And Newsom, he looked like he was pale and shaky when he came on stage. So, yeah, go look up KTLA 5's announcement of the coverage. They were the first station to break it, kind of like how FOX broke the news about, Arizona being called for you-know-who a little too early.
Yeah, I actually, I like Carrie Lake. I like her a lot. I think she would be a good VP candidate. I was saying earlier before you came that I was worried because, Trump has already announced that, he knows who he's picking. And I hope like hell it's not Vivek, but, I don't know. I got like this ill feeling in my gut.
Well, let me put it this way. There's going to be a good spot for Vivek. I'm pretty sure due to the natural born citizen issue, it won't be the VP. The people around Trump are very the last administration was basically flushing out the rhinos. Now he's running a tighter operation with pro-constitutional people. And hopefully they stay on that. But there are some snakes in the woodpile to watch out for, particularly former generals. I would keep an eye out on the ex generals that are around the MAGA movement right now, or anybody going on tours. Just ask yourself, if they're making all this money touring state to state to state, why aren't they showing up at Trump's events and endorsing him and bringing those crowds to there?
Yeah. But I think they're too scared of the potential, quote unquote prosecution, people ridiculing them and which is corny, because you should have integrity enough to stand up for, what you truly believe in. But such is life. It doesn't always go that way,
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is the let's call it the book tour. There's a lot of, or you can call it Con Inc. or, the grift, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And you and Mo have seen it, Kelly. These folks are all about getting into the business and selling a book or something during an election cycle. But when the local communities need help, they're nowhere to be seen. And it's fallen on your shoulders and Mo's shoulders and other people there in Wisconsin to, step up and help out. So
definitely, if I could have it my way, Stryker, I'd love to have a rally for the Midwest, right? For the Chicago and Milwaukee area. That'd be great. So I keep trying to, I was saying earlier, try to get it out on like Truth Social, emails, see what I can do. Like, even if, it's not from me, I don't care. I just want it done, because the people are, they don't really know what to do, what direction to go, right? And
correct.
When Biden came here, he went directly to the Black Chamber of Commerce. Very small place. I can't imagine there wasn't but a handful of people in there, and then left. He wasn't speaking to a crowd. He picked a few people, the voter base that he's looking for, the biggest voter base in Milwaukee, for them few people to push it out there. Like, hey, tell them to still vote for me and I'll do X, Y, Z. That's correct. My assumption.
Well, to get around that, you got to have that grassroots on the ground support, which means people actually got to be out there in the community doing stuff. DJT is real good about doing that. So is Vivek and a few others. They're good about, actually shaking hands, kissing babies, as they call it, but also just, being men about the community where people know who they are, versus these folks that fly in, say they're America first, fly out, and then they stab the community and the country in the back. A handler or a person with a handle of Roy Boy in your chat said, I don't trust Lindsey Graham. Rhino detector is going off. He's very correct. Lindsey Graham was highly influential in staffing the prior administration of President 45. And he was bringing the list of nominees for the Supreme Court from the Federalist Society, which is ran by the JESUITSs out of Georgetown University. So that's why Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh both follow a certain religious faith, if you will. And this is one of the things, too, it's another fracture in the MAGA movement, is the Protestant-Catholic divide, which is being played on with a certain nation, that if we talk about it, we get censored. That's having a campaign right now over in Palestine. That nation is the wedge issue that splits Protestant and Catholic, because they use it as a political football against each other. So the evangelicals are going to support, Catholics are going to claim they don't support, and then lo and behold, you split MAGA up into different camps. And that's something for folks to pay attention to. A lot of folks that are around DeSantis are, they're, what we would call deep state / Rome Vatican influenced, whereas those around number 45 are more evangelical influenced or Protestant. So, yeah, keep these eyes on these wedge issues, because we got to unify as a people, and all these wedge issues are being played off really, really precisely. And they're using Vivek. I don't even think he's a volunteer to this. Vivek's being used as a wedge issue. He's doing his job, and nobody can sit back and look at it if they look at it too closely. you got to pan back and look at Vivek. He's giving all of Trump's talking points as if he was Trump, without Trump being at those. Darn, I'm now saying his name. If Kelly Ray, if they pull your channel down, I'm sorry, but
You're okay. You're okay.
yeah, if he's giving all the talking points and his only speech for himself is that, oh, I'm the younger version, etc. What he's actually doing is he's being a proxy, whether he knows it or not. So he's actually doing quite a good job campaigning for number 45.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's what people don't get. He's a proxy, and I wouldn't be surprised if when things get wrapped up, he gets a job as press secretary or director of Health and Human Services or director of HUD, something like Dr. Ben Carson got when he unified after the 2016 cycle.
You said, sorry, what did you just say? I heard Ben Carson.
Yeah, remember after 2016? Remember after 2016, Carson got the gig as the head of the
the housing
urban development HUD.
Yeah, when he's way more qualified. I mean, yeah, he got a position, but he's way more qualified, in my opinion, for a better position. Like,
yeah,
head of HUD wasn't,
Well, he did HUD, as well as there was this thing called the 1776 Commission. First day in office, Sleepy Joe ended the 1776 Commission. Gee, I wonder who wanted to teach people about civics education. And that was another little thing for people to look at. Is the 1776 Commission. The media is like, oh no, they're teaching the wrong version of American history. It's like, no, we're teaching what's in the history books. You guys might want to look at Jan Halper. She's been on the Trump administration staff. Might want to look at the stuff she's been talking about. And yes, she even has talked about the Queen having Trump walk in front of her 3 times. So when you got Trump officials talking about things I've talked about in the past, I'm not going to say, but I'm saying we're seeing certain things play out. Not everything's in lock, but certain things are in motion. And the question is going to be locally, what are people going to do? Are they going to cry that Joe Biden's doing this? Or are they going to say, hey, you know what? I got a piece of yard. I got some wood. I'm going to build a shack and buy some chickens and raise my own chickens and eggs. Or maybe I'll, put out a trough and put out, some grain and stuff and feed myself maybe I'll raise a cow or a pig or, so on and so forth. If we're going to be self-governing as a people, we have to be self-maintaining. We also have to develop our own economies. And basically, when this whole de facto system falls apart, we don't want to be engaged in it so that nothing that falls down falls on us. If you're in the skyscraper during an earthquake because you want to be in that bank and do business with that bank, guess what? When the skyscraper falls over, you're crunched under the rubble instead of being outside the bank, doing business out in the open with everybody else in the marketplace of free ideas and free products and free exchange.
That's kind of,
by the way, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's kind of scary to me in a way, because I know that kind of work is backbreaking work. And through the generations, like my dad comes from farmers, right? Through the generations, I think people have actually gotten weaker. I mean, yes, we still have, the strong, the willing, the capable, right? But I think with random illnesses, big pharma, all things considered, people are more, if I can say, quote unquote, broken down. So under a system of having to be self-sufficient and potentially bartering, that gets a little bit scary to me, like people being even prepared to do that, right?
Well, you got Gardner Josh in your comments, and I want to point people towards him because he's put out a fair amount of content on the self-sufficiency. I got people down here in SoCal that are self-sufficient. I will be honest, folks, if you have not had someone raise their own chickens and they give you a batch of their eggs or you buy it off of them, $10, $15, you're going to hate yourself for never having organic eggs in your lifetime. You got to have them, folks. They're meatier and just so much more delicious. And that's not a plug for anyone in particular. That's just a simple truth that Mother Nature makes stuff better than these processed plants, these processed farms. And to be honest, these big mega food corporations, we look at Tyson Food. One, they backed a certain person from Arkansas from his days as governor all the way into the White House. Two, they Foster Farms out of California. We run ads in California, maybe other states, parodying Tyson Food, where the two feathery white chicken puppets always make fun of the other chicken brand for using hormones and steroids and artificial antibacterial stuff. You pick the terms. The two puppets are always mocking that, hey, can we be in Foster Farms? And one's real skinny and the other's like overly fat. It's kind of a Laurel and Hardy bit, or Abbott and Costello. And they always have like molting feathers falling off their puppet bodies and stuff. And it's like Foster Farms doesn't take chickens that are, genetically modified or, full of steroids. Well, that's what Tyson, the biggest chicken supplier in the country, does, is they GMO their own birds and they cram them in the cages. You've all seen the documentaries. They supply KFC and El Pollo Loco and several other chicken places, folks. We have to start raising our own chickens, not just for the eggs, but for breast meat that's, large and healthy breast meat, not this greasy, stringy, nasty stuff you get at KFC or you get at other chicken outlets, because they're all on the same supply chain. Does that make sense, Kelly?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I will go so far to say, even when you buy quote unquote organic, right? Because I tend to have them on a pretty regular basis, here and there. Let's just say that. It's still not the same as me being younger, going to my aunt's chicken coop, right? And frying up breakfast. It's a different world still.
True. Well, in California, because we do also have a large Hispanic populace, a lot of those families still bring some of those traditions of being on their farms and rancheros up with them. And so you can always find a neighborhood where someone might have like a meat truck. It's literally like in the old mafia movies where you have all the picks of beef you can pick from the back of your truck, and they'll bring it off their ranch or their family farm. And you can pick fresh poultry or fresh side of ribs. It'll cost you a little more. But the thing is, it's got to be fresh. It can't have all these preservatives and be sitting in a grocery aisle under a lamp, with who knows what nowadays with, the crazy guy from Microsoft, trying to get things into our food supply. I'd rather it be local and it be the people we know on a first name basis that are, growing it for me.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And yeah, Josh does a lot of that. I don't know. I don't think he has the chickens anymore, but I know he plans to do that again. But he still has. He's doing the goats pretty heavy, and the gardening.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the chicken, Kelly, the cool thing with them is if you're going to expand what you're doing there, you can take the chicken waste, use that as fertilizer for plants, and later feed the plants to the chickens. And if the chicken fertilizer, compost, what have you, attracts flies, well, the larvae from the flies can be fed to the chickens as food. So it's kind of a win-win. And then we have out here in the I want to say it's out in the LA County, Orange County area. Right now, one of these code enforcer jerks, this one family has a chicken with a rooster. I'm just using them as an example. It's nothing too classified. I'm not giving you guys their street address or nothing, but the code enforcer, apparently someone came along and the whole neighborhood has chickens and this, that, and the other. But for some reason, they're picking on them. And they're saying, oh, you don't have enough room for the chicken coop. It needs to be expanded, this, that, and the other. And everyone in the neighborhood's like, we don't even have that much room for our hens. What are they talking about? And so I think because that person is a little bit active in the community, they're picking on them to try to harass them, to get them, to either give up having the backyard farming or to, drag them out and bankrupt them in the courts so they can get the house and get the property. So we're going to be looking at that situation. And I look at this like, if you are going to stand out and be the sore thumb and be that independent farmer, there will be pushback. They will come at you. But after a while, if you push back against them and say no, a lot of times they give up, especially if you know how to, basically show them that they are not doing something correct. And there was something we found the other day. You might want to grab a pen and paper, Kelly Ray, because you're going to laugh. Because I'm going to have you look this up. You're going to look this up live on the air. I want you to have a laugh. So get a pen and paper. Now, you know how I like to rattle off numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are numbers that are good numbers. So your
Okay.
first number is 18. That's going to be followed by 3 letters, USC, which is shorthand, everyone, for United States code. And then the next number is 1001 or 1001.
Yep.
I want you all to take a look at that.
Okay, let
So,
me go see. Let me.
yes, go look at that piece of code. I'm going to say there are some caveats, there always are, but the overall gist of the code is real fun. Now, the U.S. code, folks, is something that the government has to do. It's for them. It's not for the people. That's a key thing, is that it's actually used to keep the government in check when government employees get out of order.
Okay, let me
Have you-
share it.
I use the Cornell website. You can use other colleges or other universities for law, but you're going to like this one.
Yeah, this is the Cornell one.
Okay. And thank you, Kelly Unknown, for listing that in the chat. You guys are going to roll over when Kelly Ray reads this off to you guys. It's hilarious, and it's been on the books all these years.
And nobody knew. I gotta get over there. Okay.
Oh,
let me scroll down.
it's known. It's just, why aren't they using it? Read this out loud. You guys are going to you're going to be like, holy moly.
Except as otherwise provided in this section, whoever in any matter within the jurisdiction of the executive, legislative, or judicial branch of the government of the United States knowingly and willfully 1. falsifies, conceals, or covers up by any trick, scheme, or device a material fact. What? Makes any what are they serious? Are they being serious right now?
This is a real law and a real code, and it's been on the books for years. Keep going.
Oh my God, makes any materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or representation, or makes or uses any false writing or document knowing the same to contain any material false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or entry shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 5 years, or if the offense involves international or domestic, skip that, as defined in section 2331, imprisoned not more than 8 years or both if the matter relates to an offense under chapter 109A, 109B, 110, or 117, or section 1591, then the term of imprisonment imposed under this section shall not be more than 8 years. What? I'm okay.
Just look at what 3 branches did that cover?
All of them.
And mind you, there's 5 branches. It's up to us, the people, to see that those 3 branches police themselves with their own code. So take a look at that again.
Is crazy.
They cannot lie in their jobs or they go to jail. Now, there's caveats there. I think, like, if a prosecutor does a little bit of lying to get someone to stitch on themselves, I think that's a caveat that's covered in the exemption below. But otherwise, yeah, we've had a rule, folks, that these people in office can't be lying and scamming and hiding and misrepresenting like they've been doing to number 45. The truth will set you free, and the truth is there. You just got to research.
That is, oh, wow. I never read that before.
Yeah, I found out about it earlier this week. That's kind of the perk of having a bunch of people to bounce knowledge off of and leads and things off of. So we're out here teaching. Yeah, we're out here, learning about the FOIA process, Public Records Act. I'm about to submit one. We got the people that work with the DOMINION machinery. Those folks are dead to rights with what we've collected so far. Now the question is, how are we, the people, going to prosecute it? I will tell you, I think I have told you about this, Kelly. There were 400 signatures collected in my county. Our registrar of voters is out the door. Now here's where they done screwed up. Not the signatures. The county and the attorney for the county negotiated with the registrar of voters, who resigned, a $800,000 severance package. She only makes $225,000 a year to run maybe one election, if not that.
Oh, wow.
$800,000 severance. What are they hiding? They just gave us reason to be nosy.
That's okay.
What did we
That's
read? What did we just read?
yeah, for sure. And then again, like I said, in that video, you'll see multiple cases, right, of people resigning and all related to that. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
in this.
Florida. Florida last week was hilarious. Either turn over your finances or don't be in office, and all those people rather not be in office. They told on themselves, you know?
Basically. Well,
So
Stryker, I'm gonna get ready for bed. I'm getting sleepy.
definitely. And
I so appreciate you coming up here. It's been forever. I haven't been able to speak with you. So
yeah, I've been bouncing around a lot of chats. The one thing, folks, is don't be down. We have the methods. The matter is, do the people want to get up and pursue the methods, or they hope someone else is going to do it? Is someone else going to go out to that yard and raise that chicken and then chop up that chicken for dinner for your kids, or are you going to do it? That's the question. And
well,
it goes for self-government or self-governance, excuse me.
and I think that's kind of, I think I saw something in the chat what Callie said, like, that's what I've been saying. Like, basically, I don't know what she said verbatim, but, they're caught, and just sit back and, let the chips fall where they may, and everything that there
Or
comes to light, right?
yeah, and if you think they're not going fast enough in your area, look up locally what you can do and apply it. And there are mechanisms to do things at a state level, at a national level, and so on. And there's even seats in the Republican Party. If you want to go into the politic and that corporation of the GOP, they have positions that are open because nobody volunteers to be in those positions. I have an employer. He volunteers to be on the municipal board for the Riverside County Airport, or Riverside Airport we have out here. And it's a volunteer position, but it's because no one else is there. So he's there to help make sure at least they get some funding and it's kept up, and the school programs for aspiring pilots are continuing, all this stuff.
Well,
And
even the teacher, even,
yeah,
getting on a board, anything, every county can use something, right? So
correct.
even if you're doing something on a local level, something is better than nothing.
Correct. And what I'm saying is, someone right now is just putting up the thing about the islands down with Little St. James and all that. That's a little bit of a thing to keep us, I don't want to say distracted, because the victims have been hurt and there's things going on. Locally, the people around those airports and those harbors, bolster the political issues regarding that, where the inspections are tightened and increased so people can't be smuggled in. Or like we're seeing in Texas with that border, there's enough pressure on Governor Abbott. He's finally having to do some things. Now, is he doing them correctly? I disagree with the methods. Don't drop people farther inland when they shouldn't come across the fence at all. But we're going to see some things play out. But you guys all in your communities, first be there for your families and your spouses, and then be there for your neighbors, and then see what you can do locally. We've had school boards in Arizona flee from angry parents. Well, that can happen in other school boards.
Yeah. There was a place, I forget where, but all of them quit, and then 4 of the parents stepped up. They all left.
Correct. And there's just plenty of remedy. Just make sure that if you're going to use anything like a U.S. code like I gave you, make sure you're darn sure you know how to go from A to Z on it, because there are going to be some folks who will try to scam you of money, and they'll take you from A to C. Maybe they'll even get you as far as G or H, but about the time it comes to NOP, they drop you and you're left wondering what's the finish of the map. And I've been to the finish of the map in a few cases. So I will say, don't lose hope, Americans. We got an interesting year ahead of us. Over the holidays, we had a lot of wins. And now Hunter Biden, kind of reflecting on the island issue with Mr. EPSTEIN and his lady, Miss Maxwell. Hunter's kind of like in a similar situation, and he's now in contempt of Congress, if I heard correctly, or he's going to be charged with it, it looks like. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure the other day. I was so disappointed that, it's these 2 women hammering on him, a man caping for him, right?
Yep.
As if, I don't know, I guess I look at it like no man should need another man's protection, but that's just probably how it doesn't work in Congress. But needless to say, them smirking like they had a nice smoked a rock or whatever before they came in, and we're probably gonna smoke them when they left. That really just rubs me the wrong way, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah. Well, 10, I know you've been over on 10 TV's chat sometimes out here on the West Coast time.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. I love
she
Tim.
pointed out, yeah, she pointed out those guys were all moving their head in unison, which was too funny. It was like watching, three animals all synced up,
Oh yeah,
So,
for sure. Yep, yep.
yeah, if they ain't on drugs, they on something.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
that's all the more reason we got to say what's going on there, because where there's smoke, there might be embers. And then you find out, oh, okay, there's a fire. You may not have been on top of that fire, but 5 years ago they had a fire to cover up their building so they could claim an insurance, policy that, oh gosh, someone set the fire and they never found who it was, things like that.
Right.
This government, if we take a look at the islands and the kids being hurt, stuff like that, a lot of it is like a cold case. You got to think like a cold case detective. You got to find the laws that will bolster what you're doing, and at the same time realize that most of what you're doing, you're going to have to uncover stuff. I might even be looking at getting a private investigator license with a BSIS out here in California. One, to increase my pay rate, but two, just because I've gotten so used to deep diving, I may as well put these skills, into a professional use.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. That'd be cool. Think about I know this is a little bit different, but maybe look into that the mobilized notary. I mean, I know that you can make a lot of money doing that, going to people's
yes,
houses. Yeah,
that's
definitely.
actually if you know what I'm involved with, which you do,
Right.
Kelly, that actually is very handy, because when people are swearing to the Constitution, it doesn't mean anything if it's not notarized. And we have 300 people in the Biden administration improperly sworn, or their oath isn't dated, it isn't signed, or it doesn't even exist, including, apparently, according to the whistleblowers on it, all the way up to Vice President Kamala Harris.
Wow.
So people need to start pulling those oaths of office, like I was saying 2 years ago.
Right. Right.
So
Well, send me that information that you have for tomorrow.
we'll do. I'm
So
drafting it as we speak, believe it or not.
okay.
Multitasking.
Okay, great. And thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. Nice talking to you again, Stryker.
Yep.
Before I forget, Josh will have chickens again, just for the record. This is just
Huzzah.
this is just a little bit of a break before a comeback. But yeah, definitely. And look, man, let's try to love one another and work together, right?
Amen.
We don't have to agree on everything, but hey, I mean, there is something called peace with agreeing to disagree, and most of us agree when it comes to the major things like kids, lifestyle, elderly, homeless, things like that. Humanity, right? If you have a little bit in you, we tend to be on the same ground. So let's just keep that in mind. We're Americans, and let's just try to stick together and love one another. So,
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you
I'll let you close out.
again.
Take care.
Thank you. All right. Take care, everyone.